Kia ora and welcome to my very raw, unscripted podcast, the Social Media Podcast, and I am your host, Miria Flavell. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. So let's get to it. Woweee, episode 1. I can't believe we are here right now. I've obviously been thinking about doing this for such a long time, but have just put it off with so many excuses, but I'm just so happy and excited to be here and recording our very first episode. It was a bit hard trying to think of what the first episode was going to be about. I knew it needed to be a bit of a goodie since it was going to be the first one, but I really wanted to take it right back, right to this beginning. So I called this episode From Amateur to Entrepreneur and how it all started, because it's basically what I'm going to be talking about. Anyone that knows me knows that I like to ramble, so this is going to be my ultimate mission, is to try and cut this down to hopefully a very short podcast episode. So anyways, let's take it right back to where it all began for me. So for those who don't know who I am, ko Miria Flavell tōku ingoa, my name is Miria Flavell. He uria hau no Ngātirangi Woweee me Taranaki. So a quick little recap of Miria Flavell's mini life. I was born in Taranaki in New Plymouth, and we were there until I was around 7 years old, and then we moved around quite a lot thanks to my dad, who had multiple different jobs. We went from Taranaki to Auckland to Whakatane, and then we moved to Rotorua, which is where we call home. So we moved there when I was 10 years old, and my whānau have been there ever since. So I just want to kind of touch base on how this journey started for me. So I went to Rotorua Girls High School, and at school my passion was performing arts, believe it or not. So my dream, I'm not even kidding when I say that I said to my parents that I was going to make it to Hollywood. Like, that's how much I wanted to be an actress, like a Hollywood freaking actress. Yeah, dreams are for free. I mean, some of them do come true, but then, yeah, some of them don't. But that's great. Anyway, like, I remember when I was third form, I went to St. Joe's Māori Girls College for 1 year and basically begged my parents to send me home because the school didn't have drama classes or didn't have like a performing arts kind of academy or anything of the likes that Rotorua Girls High School had. So my wonderful parents allowed me to come home. I think a majority of that was because I was a little sick and couldn't handle being away from my family. So I literally cried for them to send me home. So I ended up back home and went to Rotorua Girls High School. I was fortunate enough to have such a supportive mama who kind of believed in me back then and would send me to acting courses, classes, all of that, performing arts schools, just so I could kind of upskill and find out more about performing arts. So when I left school, I had to decide what I wanted to do, and obviously I knew it had to be something in drama or performing arts, acting, anything. And then I ended up at a film and television school. I think I felt like that was going to be my kind of foot in the door to get into this industry of acting. Obviously, getting into this industry, you find out what it really means to be an actress behind the camera, and I was just like, yeah, no thanks, that dream is long gone. I can't do that. Like, hours and hours of standing around and doing the same takes over and over again, yeah, nah. So in the end, I wouldn't say I found the passion, but I turned to production, which is like all the behind the scenes organising of film shoots and TV shows and all that. And it became my life for 7 years. So I was working in film and television for 7 years. In between that, I would always kind of go into the makeup rooms and stalk the makeup artists and just loved the beauty and the art of makeup. So there's me, Miria again, dreaming of something new. And I decided to go and study makeup so that I kind of had something else to do rather than production. I could become a makeup artist in the industry. So I went and studied makeup. It was like a 6-month course, so that was nice and quick. Studied that, basically said to I graduated first and foremost. Yes, I did. I graduated, and then I said to myself, okay, wow, I need a new challenge, and basically packed up all my things, moved over to Perth, and tried to become a makeup artist. Oh no, it was too hard for me, so I basically gave up. And when I look back at that now, I'm just like, girl, seriously? I was only doing it for like 2 months, not even that. And I just couldn't, I had no idea how to get myself out there. There was no social media back then. I think Facebook had literally just started. So I just gave that up, worked random jobs, and then got homesick once again and came back home. So when I moved back home, I went straight back into the film and television industry. I worked maybe 2 years in the industry, and I knew there was something missing. Like, there was just something inside of me that knew you ain't doing the right thing. Like, you're not doing what your heart wants to be doing. You're not doing what you're passionate about. And so I literally called up my partner and I said, I'm going to quit my job today and I'm going to become a freelance makeup artist. Well, a self-employed makeup artist. And so I feel like this is when my entrepreneurial, if you would call it, that's where my journey really began for me. So I was working for myself at home. I called it Halo Beauty, if you guys can remember that. It was my own business. And I just worked as a makeup artist from home. And in between that, had a baby, my beautiful son. So in between that, I was doing clients, looking after him, and, you know, being a mama of 2. And I would always just get kind of asked to teach people how to do makeup. So that's when I said, okay, you know what, I'm just going to film it and all of you can just teach yourself from home. And so I just brought a camera and started filming. And I remember, like, my son would literally have the same time that he would go for a nap every day. And so I would plan it. I would be like, okay, he's going to go to sleep at this time, so I'm going to film this in that time. I have half an hour to an hour to film this episode. So I'm like, girl, you better be on point. And so that's how it worked for, it was around about a year, I think, that I was doing YouTube. And that's just how it was for me. So, to get to where Hine Collection started. So, a lot of my work was obviously on social media. I started getting companies and brands reaching out to me to do, you know, just to promote them and to do sponsored posts and all that kind of stuff. I remember an activewear brand here in New Zealand reached out to me. And they sent me some free products. It was, I don't want to talk about this brand, you know, I'm not like that, but I just want to say, like, it was products. So it wasn't the clothing, it was just the products because they sold, you know, protein powders and the likes. So anyway, they reached out to me and they said, oh, you know, if you promote this for us on your page and we'll repost you on our page. So I was thinking, awesome, that's exposure for me, for my business and all of that. So I take a photo. So I don't want you guys to get it twisted and where I say, so that the photo didn't get reposted, and it's not the fact that they didn't post it. So where it began for me was that I reached out to them and I said, hey, just out of curiosity, does your brand cater to bigger women, or is it just like a select few, you know? Is it just the smaller sizes that you cater for? Because I don't see that on your page and I'm actually just really curious. And they came back to me and said, yeah, we repost this girl who is a size 14. I won't mention her name, but they said we repost her all the time. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so that's one girl who is a size 14 and what? And what does that mean exactly? I mean, here at home, your typical size is not just size 14. And so and this is what I mean by it was super random how Hine Collection started. It was kind of like I got that answer and I said, and it kind of just sparked, like, honestly, it was like a light bulb moment. Because I wouldn't say that I was wanting to start a business. If I wanted to start a business, it was more makeup. Like, I would love to have created my own beauty line. And so to start an activewear brand was just far, far from my thoughts, like my plans. Yeah, you get what I mean. Like, I had no plans whatsoever of doing that. And so the light bulb went off and I knew, okay, I need to do something about this, okay? Because I know that I have so many young girls that are following me, first and foremost. I know that there's so many other women out there that would feel the same way that I feel when I look at all these clothing brands and activewear pages or whatever and see the same type of body image. And, like, I'm not going to beat around the bush, they're tiny. And so for me, I just knew, you know what, like there needs to be something that's going to change here. And it's even the same with the beauty, you know, it was the same type of woman that we're getting, that we're being advertised for beauty companies and beauty brands. And that was another thing that I wanted to change, was how it was in the beauty industry. But anyways, let's get back to the activewear. So I literally walked out of my mum's lounge. I was staying with, I wasn't living with my mum, but I was at home. It was one random weekend, and I remember I was like lying on my sister's bed, and this idea came. So I literally walked out and I said, so I'm going to start a clothing brand. And all you could see were eye rolls from my sister and my mum. And now when I look back, I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand why they were like that, because it was just so random. But I knew in my heart that it was what I wanted to do. Like, I was on a freaking mission to do this. I ended up just diving straight into it. I was on Google, how to start an activewear brand. Typing into Google, how to start a clothing brand. How to fund a clothing brand. Honestly, I was on Google for weeks. It took me so long to even get started. But like I always say, because I was so determined to do this, I just kept going. And at that time was when we were struggling big time. We were living off one income. I had my son. I still had my son at home. And so it was balancing trying to start this brand and every weekend getting makeup gigs, and I was literally hustling. So I would like run masterclasses, I would run some specials for makeup, just so that I could start this idea, so I could start this brand that I was like, I was so deep, I was in so deep, if that makes sense, that there was no way I was going to let this go. I needed to do this. It was my mission, and I wasn't going to give up until it was done. The hardest part was that those around me, even my friends and family, they doubted me. They didn't quite believe that this random idea that I had was going to be anything. And so at the same time where we're struggling, I'm trying to prove to all these people that, hey, this is going to be a thing, and I'm going to prove you all wrong. That was my mentality, and I know that's so crazy, and it's kind of bad thinking about that right now, but that was my motivation. It was like, I need to do this to prove to my loved ones, to my family, that I can do this. You know, I come from a family that has doctors, that has academics, that has oh my gosh, I don't really want to talk about all of them, but you know, dentists, doctors, that's how my family is. Like, it's just full with academics, really. And so here's me, like a makeup artist, and then now like randomly coming up with an idea to start my own business. Boy, oh boy. And I struggled, like I'm not going to hide that. It was really hard, and that's why I say in the first year of running a business, and even the months before we even launched, were the hardest times of possibly my life. Like it was tough. It's funny because I look back at when I first thought of this idea, and I posted on my social media, my Instagram page, and I wrote, in 3 months' time, I'm going to launch this brand. It is my mission to launch this brand in 3 months' time. Yeah, so 8 months later, we finally launched. And we had to start off with pre-orders. Like, I totally underestimated how freaking hard it was to start this brand. First of all was money, time, production, the marketing side, like actually getting everything in order to launch this, setting up the websites, all of that. Like, come on, girl. I totally underestimated all of it. And so it took 8 months to launch. And when we launched, it was so slow. Like, back then I thought it was a lot, but I'm pretty sure we only got maybe 200 orders. And this was pre-orders. 200 pre-orders for our first launch. And it was enough to pay for the stock that we had ordered. So that it set us up. It got us started anyway. And I was over the freaking moon. But in the back of my mind, I still needed to prove to these people that this is going to be something. Oh boy, did we have a lot of, oh God, what would we even call them? Lessons. I'll call them lessons. So many things went wrong. So many issues. And it was certain issues that made me actually think to myself, this is literally the end of Henny Collection. Like, our customers are going to be over us. They're not going to shop with us ever again. I can't even count on my hands how many times I had breakdowns, because that's how many things went wrong. In the end, we worked through them. Our people are still around, which I'm so grateful for. Like, the fact that people still keep coming back regardless of the many issues that we have. I don't know, it just makes me so emotional, really, because they've stuck with us, like literally our ride or die. From memory, I think it was around the 8-month mark. So 8 months into business was when things just kind of took off. Like, to the point where I needed to try and keep up with the growth of our business. I was an amateur, a total amateur. I haven't had any business experience besides being a makeup artist. When I say this was my first proper experience in business, it really was. And the fact that I had to keep up with this crazy growth in our business, it meant I needed to grow myself. I needed to personally grow, learn, adapt to so many things around me. I would walk into meetings. It would be either with accountants, my mentors, lawyers. My gosh, just so many different people who are so like knowledgeable, and they know their shit. Like, sorry, I'm going to say it, shit. They know their stuff. And so I'd walk into this meeting and I would have no idea what the hell these people are talking about. But here they are talking about my business. There was one meeting that I went into. Sorry, no. It wasn't a meeting. It was a job interview for someone to come and work with us. She comes in and she has a meeting with us. And I couldn't even tell her what her job description was going to be. Nor did I know, like, I'm pretty sure I even said to her, look, I'm new to this. I have no idea how this works. So you tell me what you want. Now that I think about how that went down, I'm embarrassed, because what kind of business owner goes into a job interview for someone I'm about to employ and tell them, I have no idea how this goes. You tell me what you want. I knew nothing about my business's finances. I knew nothing. I didn't know anything about the numbers. I knew nothing about accounts. I remember I jumped on a 1-hour strategy session with one of Tony Robbins', I think they're just like his strategy coaches that he trains. Anyway, it was free, so I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah. So anyway, I jumped on this phone call with this American guy, and he was amazing. Like, he was so knowledgeable. He just knew his stuff inside out. So he started asking me all these questions. What is your net profit? How much did you turn over last year? How much did you turn over this year? What are your goals? And I couldn't even give this guy an answer. I was so embarrassed. It was honestly so embarrassing. And I said to him, I have no idea. And he said to me, rule number 1, you as a business owner should know the ins and outs of everything to do with your business. You should know all the numbers. You should know every single detail. You should know how much money has gone out, how much money has come in. You should know exactly what every staff member of yours is doing. You should know what every single process system in your business is. And I said to him, I don't. And he said, well, you've got some work to do, don't you? So it was at this point that I said, girl, wake up. You need to do something about this. So this is when everything kind of changed for me. I started listening to podcasts every single day. I started reading books. And anyone that knows me knows I do not read books. The last book that I read was freaking Twilight series. So All of this was so new to me, but I knew that this new business owner Miria, needed to step it up big time and start making some changes, start really making my business a priority for me. And it's not just rocking up to work and picking orders. No. It meant literally stepping away from my business and actually focusing. Sorry, when I say that, I mean the operations of my business. So stepping away from packing the orders, answering customers and doing customer service. The actual operations I needed to step away from. I had been doing it for a year, and I knew that my focus needed to be on upskilling and becoming a business owner. Like actually becoming a business owner, knowing the ins and outs of my business and really looking after my business so that no one could tell me what I didn't already know about my business. So that I could walk into a meeting and know exactly what all these different people were talking about. People that were mentors or that were experts in their fields. I wanted to know what they were talking about so that I could understand. I wanted to know what advice they were giving me. I wanted to know the reports they were giving me in terms of my finances. And the learning does not stop. Every single day I'm learning, I'm adapting, I'm keeping up with it. And my passion for my business just continues to grow every single day. And now I have my partner working with me, which is amazing. Like, it was one of my number one goals was to get my partner to step away from his job that he was working at the time and to work on our business. And we work together now. And so we went from working in my garage, just myself, to now in our new warehouse. Well, it's not so new anymore. We moved in February of 2019. We moved into our warehouse. We have 4 staff members. And our beautiful business just continues to grow every single day. And I get emotional when I talk about these things because it's become such a huge part of our lives, Hine Collection. And we've created this movement, which you call Hine Movement. And we just feel like, I don't know, like they're all a part of our family and we're a part of all of them. So we just love this little community that we have grown in such a short time. And if you are listening and you are one of our customers, we appreciate you so much, and we have so much love for all of you who continue to support us. But I feel like that's enough for today's episode. That's just kind of like a rough little recap of where it all began and where we are at now. And like I said, we just continue to grow by the day. We continue to, every day is a new day. And every day I feel like we have new lessons. And we just take every day as it comes. And we don't worry too much about all of our lessons and mistakes from the past. So we just move forward. And my biggest advice to anyone that is going to start a business is just to have faith in yourself. Like I said in the beginning, is that so many people doubted me, but I knew in my heart that this was what I really wanted to do, and I knew that it was going to be amazing. And so I stuck with it. I followed my heart. I listened to my gut, and my gut was telling me, keep going. You're gonna do amazing. You're gonna crack this, and it's going to be an amazing thing for you and for your family. So I stuck with it. You are going to have people that are going to doubt you. That's just the honest truth. And I just hope that you believe in yourself enough to carry on and to follow it through and to absolutely smash it and to achieve those goals that you've been wanting to achieve for such a long time. The second thing is don't wait. And I say this all the time when people ask me, do you have any advice? It's like, don't wait, because I waited. Even for this podcast, I waited for so long to do it. But I'm here now, and I'm so happy to be able to be doing this, to be able to share my experiences that I've had in my first year of business. And I've got so much more to share, but that's what I meant by this episode was quite hard, because I needed to pick it right down into one, just like the start to finish in a nutshell. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I've got so much to give you and so much value, especially with a few guests that I'm hoping to bring on. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch up later. Ka kite.